Good morning, everybody. Once again, today I'm with politics, chapter number first. And what is the name of the chapter? It is power sharing. We will learn about power sharing, and that first part is over. Today we are with the second part. Okay, what are we going to learn in the second part? Have a look now. There are only two topics. First one is why power sharing is desirable. Okay, what is the need of power sharing in a country? That is the first point to discuss. Second one is forms of power sharing. We will learn about the forms, different forms of power sharing. Okay, there are only two topics, right? Moving ahead with the first one, why power sharing is desirable. Do you have any answer for it? No, then I will tell you. There are two reasons. The first reason is called as prudential reason. What is the prudential reason? It reduces the possibility of conflicts. Power sharing reduces the possibility of conflicts in a country. Why? When power has been shared among different kinds of people, there is very less chance among the different social groups to have a conflict. Clear now? When there is no conflict, social conflict, then it can lead to political stability. Suppose if there are conflicts, the conflicts on the basis of social demands or different social group, what will happen? Political instability will be there. But since it reduces the possibility of conflict, we can say that it ensures political stability. What is the second reason? That is moral reason. What is the moral reason for power sharing? It is the very spirit of democracy. Power sharing is the very spirit of democracy. It ensures people's participation. People rule themselves in a democratic country. People are the owners of a democratic country. That is why it is called as legitimacy. Legitimacy means people's own government. Democratic government is considered as people's own government. So that is what a moral reason. Now you have come to know what are the two reasons of power sharing. Why should we have power sharing? Because of these two reasons. This is a set of reason. Prudential reason have two reasons. Moral reason also has two reasons. That's a set of two reasons. Okay, shall I continue now? Okay, now what we are going to see? We will learn about the basic principles of democracy. Okay, what are the basic principles of a democracy? Let us see. First one, people are the source of all political power. Just now I told you that people select the government and they are the real owners of the government. It means that people are the source of all political power in a democracy. Number two, in a democracy, people rule themselves through the institutions of self-governance. How do the people rule? People rule themselves. How? Through the institutions of self-governance. There are some institutions made in the country that those institutions have been made for governing themselves. That is what a feature, a basic principle of democracy. Third one, due respect is given to diverse groups and views that exist in a society. That is what the most important principle of a democracy, that respect is given to all the groups, whether they are majority or minority. We have seen in the example of Sri Lanka that majority group controlled the minority and they established majoritarianism. But in a true democracy that cannot happen. Respect is given equally to all the people, whether they belong to any of the particular social group. They have a voice in the democratic government. Their voice will be heard in public policies and politics. They get an importance. This is what respect. Okay, respect has been given to each and every person in a democracy. So you have learned the basic principles of democracy. Okay, moving ahead now to the next topic. What is that? Now we will learn the second topic, forms of power sharing. Okay, I told you that there are only two topics in this part. First one is over now. What was that? It was the need of power sharing. There we have seen that we need power sharing because of two sets of reasons: prudential reason and moral reason. Next topic is forms of power sharing. What are the major forms of power sharing? How can we share the power among the people? There are various ways in which we can have power sharing. What are they? There are four, I told you, no? Number one, horizontal distribution of power. Second one, vertical distribution of power. Third one is power sharing among the different social groups. And the last one is power sharing among different pressure groups. These are the four different types or forms of power sharing exist in different parts of the world. Okay, in our country also we are having these four kinds of power sharing. Now we are moving to discuss about each and every aspect and form of power sharing. Shall we move? Yes, to the first one, horizontal distribution of power sharing. Okay, what is that? Power is shared among different organs of the government such as legislature, executive and the judiciary. What is done? What is horizontal distribution of power sharing? Power is shared among different organs of the government. What are the different organs of the government? Legislature, executive and judiciary are the different organs. And this system is called horizontal distribution of power. Why? Because it allows different organs at the same level to exercise different powers. These three different organs are there and they have placed at the same level and they exercise different powers. The level is equal but their function, their area of legislation and the area of function, that is different. They are equal to each other. Clear? Let us learn something more about the horizontal distribution of power. No organ can exercise unlimited power in the system. There are three organs, but no one can exercise unlimited power. Each organ checks the other, and this results in a balance of power among these organs. What has been done? Legislature checks the executive, but they cannot exercise unlimited control, but they can check. And executive in return, it also checks the legislature, and both of them checks the judiciary checks the other two. In this way balance has been maintained in the power sharing arrangement. That is why it is known as the system of checks and balances. This horizontal distribution of power is also called as the system of checks and balances. What is the ultimate result of this system? That no organ will use excess power and no organ will be in a wrong way. Okay, because the other two organs are always checking that organ. Always they are in an indirect pressure by the other two organs. So that is why a balance has been maintained in the country. That is why it is known as the system of checks and balances. Okay, there are some examples. One example has been given here. The judges of our courts are appointed by the executive. You know that the Supreme Court Chief Justice is appointed by the President, right? But after the appointment, the President doesn't have any role. President cannot remove the judge. Do you know? Yes, President cannot remove the judge. He is appointed, it means that his function is over. Now, the judge can exert a power upon the President. Okay, President appoints the judge. Afterwards, the judge can use his power upon the President also. It can check the functioning of the executive. In this way, there are a lot of examples in our country. Thus, a balance has been maintained. That is why it is known as the system of checks and balances. Moving to the next one. What is the next one? Vertical distribution of power. What is vertical distribution? Vertical means from top to bottom. What is that arrangement? Have a look. Power can be shared among different levels of government. What are the levels of government? Central, state government. There is a government at the central level which is called the federal or union or central government. This federal government is also called as, at the central level there is a government for the whole country, that is known as federal government or union government or Central government. And what is other one? There are governments at the regional level also. What are they known as? State governments, isn't it? Okay, let us continue. They are called state governments in the country. Also, there are local governments at the village and municipal level. There are governments at the municipal level, local self-governments. You have learned about the Panchayati Raj system. That is what the local government. It means how many levels of governments are there in India? 3 levels: central government, state government, and local government. The central and the state governments should share their power and resource among the other levels. These two higher levels of government, what they have to do, what they are supposed to do, they have to share their power as well as resources. The part of their income, it has to be shared with the local government. This is what the power sharing arrangement in the country. This is the federal division of power in our country. This vertical system of power sharing is also known as federal division of power in our country. According to this system, power has been divided among different levels of government. In the first one we have seen, the power has been divided among different organs of the government. They are equal. But here in this case, are these 3 levels of governments equal? No. Central government has more number of powers than the other 2 governments. State government has more powers than the local government. Local government has very less number of powers. Clear now? It is not equal distribution of power. According to the importance, power has been divided among different levels of government. Okay, that is known as federal division of power. We are moving to the third one now. What is the third? Power sharing among different social groups. Okay, power has been shared among different social groups all over the world, not only in India. It can be shared among different social groups such as religious and linguistic groups, groups on the basis of religion or language. Community government in Belgium, that we have seen in the first part, that community government is an example of this way of power sharing among the social group. What social group it is? It is on the basis of their language. It is a linguistic group, and community government has been formed. It is an example of power sharing among social groups. There are some countries where socially weaker sections and women get a chance to hold the offices, which means that power has been shared among the weaker sections of the society in many of the countries. Okay, let us learn about India. What is the situation? Our country has a system of reserved constituencies, which is an example of power sharing among weaker sections and women. You have heard last year that India has a system of reserved constituency at the time of election. There are some constituencies which have been declared as reserved. Yes or no? Yes. They have been reserved for whom? For the VIPs? No. They have been reserved for the weaker sections and the minorities in our country, like women, then SCs, STs, OBCs, etc. For these minorities, some constituencies have been reserved. That is an example of power sharing among weaker sections and women in India. Okay, thus what is the benefit because of this? The minorities also get a share in power. It is a chance to give them a fair share in power. Power has been shared among these different groups of people also in India. Not only in India, everywhere we can see this feature. Okay, now we are moving to the fourth way of power sharing. What is that? Power sharing among different pressure groups, interest group, political parties, trade unions. Okay, they are known as pressure groups. There is a competition among different parties to get power in our country, that you can see every time during the election. The parties contest the election this way seriously, because there is a very tough competition between these political parties to win power, to get power in the country. They want to come in power. Thus, it is ensured that power doesn't remain in one hand. All the political parties want to get power, which means that power doesn't remain with only a particular party or a person in our country. All the political parties have equal chances to win the election, and it is a very clear indication that power doesn't remain in one hand, rather it ensures that different ideologies and social groups get a chance to rule. People with political parties, half the people, their ideology is different from one party to the other, and these different ideologies and different social groups get a chance to rule through these political parties. Okay, we have divided our power among different political parties. Let us continue, it is not over. These days we can see new phenomena. What is that? Coalition governments are common. It is not a phenomena, it is a trend only. These coalition governments are very common in our country. What is a coalition government? Two or more political parties make an alliance to get the power. Okay, one big party along with some minor parties also come together to make an alliance, and thus after winning the election they make a government which is known as coalition government. Okay, so what happens because of the coalition government? That the government represents various groups with a different ideology. In this case also we can see that the government represents, or in the government among the authorities there are people from different ideology and different background. This is what power sharing. Power is shared among different kinds of people. Okay, let us continue now. Power is shared among interest groups such as those of traders, businessmen, industrialists, farmers, and industrial workers. Previously, we have seen that power has been shared among different political parties, either as a ruling party or an opposition party, they exert power. Next method is power sharing among different interest group. Who are the interest group? Like the associations of traders, or businessmen, or industrialists, or farmers, or industrial workers, or teachers, or doctors, or bus owners, or shopkeepers. Almost all the people who work in different fields have formed their own association. They are known as interest groups. These interest group exert a power. They get power either by participating in government committees or influencing the decision making process. These people, these traders, businessmen, industrialists, farmers, and industrial workers, there are two ways of power sharing among them. What are they? Number one, they can directly take part in the government committee. Number two, they can influence the decision making process. Whatever is the way, they also are getting a fair chance. Their voice is also audible, it is heard in the country. That is what power sharing among different pressure group, political parties, and interest group. So that is over. What we have learned? We have learned the different forms of power sharing. What are they? Number one, horizontal. What is horizontal power sharing? Power is shared among different organs of the government, legislature, executive, and judiciary. It is also called the system of checks and balances. No organ is over the other. No organ can use unlimited power, but all are equal. At the same time, they check each other. As a result, a balance is maintained. Number two is vertical power sharing. What is vertical power sharing? Power sharing among central, state, and local governments. Okay, there are different levels of government set up in the country, and power is shared among them, which is known as vertical power sharing, also called as federal system of power sharing. Okay, third one is power sharing among different social groups. How is it done in the country? We have shared our power with weaker sections and women during the election. Particularly for the local government, we give importance to women. 1/3 of the seats are reserved only for the women. Okay, so that is what power sharing among social groups. We could see it in Belgium, that they have given power to social groups on the basis of language. Okay, both French speaking and Dutch speaking community got equal representation. That is what power sharing among different social groups. And finally, power sharing among different pressure groups. How is it done? Political parties and interest group, they share the power. Political parties and interest groups share the power. That is what the power sharing among different pressure groups. Clear now? Okay, so we have completed today's chapter. First chapter has been completed. In the second part, what did we learn? See, I taught you two topics. First one was why power sharing is desirable. I taught you two topics or two reasons. What are they? Two sets of reasons. One is moral reason, second is prudential reason. Second topic we learned was forms of power sharing. What are the different forms of power sharing? Horizontal, vertical, then among social groups and among political parties or interest groups. That's over today. It's a time to wind up. As usual, stay home so that you can be safe. Okay, take care. Bye.